What's up guys, Ryan from AntScapes here. So today I've got a succulent build, as you can tell by the title by now, but it's just for a friend. He's keeping this within his office where he works, so I wanted to make something simple enough that he didn't have to worry about watering it all the time, and he wanted that as well. He wanted something easy maintenance, so there's not going to be a massive sort of design behind this. It's just a case of like one plant and a few rocks. I haven't started yet, but I know I've got one plant that I want to use in particular, and then I've got some sand and some few pebbles that sort of match the sand a little bit. But regardless, I'll get straight to the build, and I hope you enjoy what I've got here. So peace and love, I'm out. Now this is the actual jar I've got. So as you can see, difficulty I'll have is the fact that it goes more narrow towards the top, which then limits what I can put in, especially the size of the actual lid itself. And also with it being a succulent terrarium, succulent terrariums need a much bigger sort of drainage layer, or sort of normally double the depth of drainage layer to a standard terrarium. So I will then lose that width at the bottom section. Hence why I'll have that narrower section at the top. So we'll see how it goes, Okay, so the first thing we do is we add a drainage layer. Okay, so ordinarily that would actually be okay for that drainage layer. But with succulents, you need to make that drainage layer bigger, as mentioned, so I'll add a little bit more in there now. If you just have a look there, you can see, now what I've done is I've put the membrane or the mesh in there. And what that mesh will do, essentially, is it'll stop the soil going down into this layer here, into the drainage layer, which we don't want, because then you'll get stagnant water and water sat in there, which can cause mold. But I always make sure I put it a little bit bigger than it needs to be, and that way then you can actually use that overhang to bed in the soil and the rest of the sort of things that you're putting in there. So always make sure you've got just a slight overhang. Now this is a soil I'm using for this. It's a little bit different to my usual mix, but this is a peat-free cactus and succulent focus repotting mix. So I'll be using this, but ultimately what I want to do is put that soil in there and then have some sand to cover the soil so you can't actually see the soil anywhere. But I'll show you what I'm doing and you'll see roughly what I'm trying to do with that. Okay, so that should do it. What I've done is I've added a small amount. The reason I added soil is just because I want them to have the nutrients they need, things like that. So I still want to use a good mix for them, and it's also like free draining for like strong roots or strong root growth. So I want to put some in there anyway, just add that soil, even though I'm putting in sand, but you hopefully can't see the soil at the end of this. So what I'm going to do here is just give it a little bit of a water down. Reason being is obviously I want the soil to be off that, because I'll be adding sand, so I don't want any soil to be visible. Some might be, but I can obviously remove that afterwards. So that's how it is so far. I added some rocks there. Now the difficulty I've had with this is due to the size of it. Obviously it was limited to what I could plant in there, especially being a succulent, how then you normally need more open space. Now the sand as well, obviously when I water it down it goes a little bit bitty, so for the final photo it's probably not going to look that good. But regardless, you know, I am happy with it. The difficulty I will have is just finding a lid, but you know, this was or is the final result. I was going to put some more rocks in there, but I just wanted to keep it really simple. I only used one plant, and that one plant was in 3 mini bunches, so I've planted them up, as you can see, just like so. But this one was a really simple, easy build. I didn't want to overcomplicate it. The difficulty I also had was due to the shape of the vase or the glass. You know, it's actually visibly looking through this. It didn't display properly, and as you can see there, it warps slightly, and you know, the vision of it seeing in isn't that great. But end of the day, it's just a flower vase. You know, the metal, the glass contains a lot of it's high in iron metal. You can tell just because it's so cloudy compared to the normal glass. So it is cloudier, but either way, you know, this is just going in my friend's office. So I just wanted to build this for him, something simple, and regardless, that sand will end up falling down, and you know, it will look a little bit more better, or it will look better once everything's completely set in.